I love the truth. You know, I went in and out of my green phase. Here I am again at the fake Jew's house. He's a Khazarian. He doesn't realize he's a fake Jew, I don't think. But other parts of me think, yeah. The thinking parts of me think, yeah. He more than realizes. You know, they've aimed all these movies at me that I'm gonna tell you right now are bullshit and lies and Masonic evil movies that you should never even watch. And there's a reason for that. It's not because I'm trying to keep you pure like a child in a Christian home and upbring you with homeschooling and all this stuff. No. You know the truth that's out there. You see it. You're an adult. You can think for yourself. The reason why I don't want you watching these movies is because of rabbit holes upon rabbit holes upon rabbit holes upon rabbit holes, and the ex-CIA black operatives engineer, ex-CIA black operatives engineer, black project engineer, excuse me, said it best. Robert Duncan, Dr. Robert Duncan said it best. These are a method, these rabbit holes, as they call them, and that's how the term got introduced to our society, was by the CIA. The term rabbit hole is introduced to our society by the CIA. So you're going to follow every rabbit hole down? Or you're going to take a minute and pause and go, hey, wait a minute, maybe I don't need to go down this rabbit hole or any other rabbit hole. And so this is why I'm here to tell you, as Alice from the goddamn movies, and some of them are about males, some of them are about females, being the Alice character. For instance, the Matrix movie is about a male being the Alice character. It's not a glorifying thing. It's not like about me. It's not wonderful. It's not exemplary. And it's not special. They saw somebody who they thought that they could mentally manipulate into mentally manipulating all of you with my, decent speaking ability and writing ability and music writing ability into believing whatever the hell they wanted you to believe. Okay, so there's where you start. Do you think it's going to end in a good place if you go down all those rabbit holes that you can and find out all the little clues that the Masonic movies left for you? So no, of course not. What I'm telling you is you don't goddamn effing watch those movies at all. And I have literally cut those movies out of my life. I gave them all away to a friend. A friend who I knew was flaky. Flaky as all hell. So I gave them all to him. Because he's not going to catch on anything. He's going to give them away or watch them a couple of times and put them away in his closet or some kind of crap. I gave them away to him because this is not for you. The rabbit holes of the CIA and the bullshittery of this magnificent government of evil that we have underlying many governments of the West is not for you. That is not for you to follow. That's not for you to follow down to a rabbit hole to the bottom of your potential of following a rabbit hole. Look up Robert Duncan's statement. It's more specific than I put it, but it's worth looking up. Even you can't even find it online anymore. I looked it up a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago, and I couldn't even find it. So I guess I'm gonna have to verbatim as much as I can about that statement to give you the relay of it. And that is this, that this was from Robert Duncan, Dr. Robert Duncan, and he's an ex-CIA black projects engineer, and he said this, paraphrasing, I'm not quoting, I'm paraphrasing because I can't really remember the exact words, but that these rabbit hole type, crappy ass things that they have you going down trying to figure out what truth is, are paths to nowhere. To lead you, and I remember this part very well, to lead you to the Mad Hatter's table for a tea party at the end of the game so that you can talk gibberish to each other. Okay? So take that in. That's really what's going on. That's from an ex-CIA Black Project engineer, totally turned to our side now, and the side of truth. And the side of truth is the side you want to be on, honey. You don't want to be on the side that comforts you. It makes you feel like watching Matrix movies or Alice movies is going to help you in any way. Because it's not. And being Alice is not special. It's completely unspecial. They thought of me as somebody who was totally mechanically and mentally operative amongst their own, ends and means, if you will. Like, they could manipulate me to get you, with my words, like poetically or musically or whatever, to just do whatever the hell they wanted you to do. That's not special. So the Alice character in these movies is a mental manipulation game piece that they are playing, that they played ill. They played ill to their own good, and they forgot that I was going to have a freaking brain in my head and be able to figure this out and tell you guys, hey, you know what, forget about that. Don't do it. Don't go down any rabbit holes. Don't watch the Masonic movies. Don't buy into any of it ever. And so when I began to say stuff like that, and this is proof of what I'm saying right now. Here's the proof. Back in February of 2019 is when they said, oh, the gloves are coming off. Uh-oh, the gloves are coming off, And why was that? They said that privately to me as a TI. And TI is targeted individuals, which I didn't make up the term, but that's what they're called. Targeted individuals, understand what I'm saying. When they said something privately to you, you understood it, but nobody else did, kind of thing. Well, that's exactly what happened in February about this Alice thing. I literally, before February of 2019, 4 or 5 months or 6 months before, I said, fuck you, Federal Reserve. You are going down. You are the first artery to take down in our country, the Federal Reserve. And we have every right to go, because they're neither federal nor reserve. They didn't reserve any of our gold. They stole it. And they're not federal. They're not government. They're a goddamn private bank. So we have every right to go there as them being stolen our gold and a private bank. We have every right to go there. Either demand our gold or demand them out. Or hang them as traitors. That's the third option. And it is an option still. Once I started saying that, I don't know, 4 or 5 or 6 months before February 2019, they started to realize that I wasn't going to go along with the program of this Alice program that they had set in place since, from what I can recollect or read, the Alice books went back 154 years. And so 154 years back, they've been trying with different generations of themselves to basically concur me into this disabling of your republic here now. This United States Republic. And in disabling that republic, they would disable many other republics. And the things that stood for republics and maybe weren't, or socialist, but basically nations that were sovereign unto themselves nations, and they could topple them by means of basically the first screw in would be my song and my little dance that I would do, right? for them. Unwittingly, they thought wrong. And I've been telling them ever since then that they thought wrong. I don't know why they haven't killed me yet, because I've been telling them, just kill me. I mean, I don't care. I know that my life purpose has been absolutely fulfilled when I realized and said on camera to a public nation, a nation, that I was responsible for either leading it to hell or not. That this was either going to go one way or the other. And my knowledge that it was going to go the one way and not the other that they wanted it to go meant that, they could essentially kill me without guilt, because I understood that. I accepted it. I took it on to myself. I loved the truth more than I loved life, and so be it. And so since then, I don't understand why they haven't essentially killed me yet, but I'm going to tell you, this is what it's all about. Is the Alice program is to brainwash you into destruction. And so you want to follow these Alice movies, and the Alice movies even include Forrest Gump. They include, I'm trying to think of unlikely movies that you wouldn't think of. The Alice movies include The Great Gatsby is an Alice movie that you wouldn't suspect, because it's more about manipulation of my mind than of yours, via the love of my life. They even used her alliteration in her name. I'm not going to say what her name is ever, but I'm just going to say that. They used a lot of these things to get to me, to get me to say certain things, and to get me to do certain things, like in their will, not yours, of being free, yours of being just a sovereign nation, just peaceably, getting by and living and surviving, and live and let live, and let every man live and be free. They don't want that. They want total fascism, and they want you to be called the fascists for even having a family eventually. And they're getting around to that again too, because it's a circular. They've already been through that, but they're making like another round on that, and you'll see it. So don't watch these effing Alice movies thinking that, and there's a lot of them. There's like a whole goddamn stack of them. One of them, who I'm trying to think of the ones that you wouldn't think were Alice movies. The ones that are Alice movies are obvious. The Wizard of Oz, Alice in Wonderland is an obvious Alice movie. Okay, so one is that is not obvious at all to anybody is, unless you're really paying attention to, clothing and nuances and everything else. Another one is My Own Private Idaho, and that was more about the time when I was sort of prostituting myself, more than 10 years ago, but still, it harkens back to a time when I can remember, I can recall it like it was yesterday, and they know that because there are psychological operations behind this, and so, they tried to use that to, do another Alice movie, and they failed. And so what I tell them every day, I tell them this. I tell them, you failed in 154 years, because I can't think back to an Alice movie before that, or an Alice plot of the unseen hand government before that, upon the Alice character, which ended up being me. I can't think of one before that, like before the Alice book by Lewis C. Carroll came out. So I go, you failed for 154 years, and when are you going to give up? When are you going to, you've failed. And I tell them this, and they still try to succeed, and they still try. It's almost like they have concrete barriers inside their brain, like that they won't see certain things. And certain things I tell them, like, you failed for 154 years, you failed. since the Alice book from Lewis C. Carroll, you failed. Like big failures. You know, they can't even freaking see it. So not only are they trying to manipulate you mentally, psychologically, socially, and governmentally, but also, you got to keep in mind that they can't see their failures. They are weak, they are small in stature, like this small, and you can take them. Yes, you can.